We've all been there. You go to check on your starts with your morning coffee, and instead of green growth, you're looking at a science experiment. Mold on your seed trays isn't just ugly, it can be a total crop failure if you don't act fast. In today's video, we're peeling back the curtain on the pristine garden myth and looking at the honest truth about fungus, airflow, and the natural fixes that actually work. First off, let's talk about that mold or fungus that you're seeing in your grow room. There's two typical types of funguses that I usually see in the grow room. Number one is a white fungus. Number two would be the funguses that cause dampening off. The white fungus is typically caused by an environment that is warm, wet, and humid. The white fungus is not typically bad. Think of this as more of a check engine light for your car. This is something that's showing you that you might have possibly a bad situation, a bad growing environment for your seedlings. So it's something that you want to get checked out and get fixed before it becomes a real problem. It typically means that you're either overwatering, or you do not have a proper airflow with your seedlings, or you got too much organic material into your seed starting mix. Now, the other funguses that cause the dampening off, which dampening off is essentially when the plant flops over and you'll see maybe a little brown pinch right at the soil. You'll see where it browns off and it pinches right at the soil line where it droops over and just simply dies. Dampening off is usually caused by cool, wet conditions. Cool meaning that you don't have enough heat. Wet conditions meaning that you're overwatering as well. So how do we fix these situations? Well, if you haven't noticed by now, there are two common themes here. Number one is overwatering. When you water your plants or your seedlings, you want to make sure you do it not by sight alone, but by touch. When I say not by sight, if that top layer of the soil looks and appears dry, your seedlings still may be fine. Stick your finger down in that soil and feel that soil. If that soil is still moist, you're fine with your watering. Now, if that soil is dry, you'll definitely want to put a little water in there and get them hydrated. The other part is by sight. If you notice any droopiness in your plants and your seedlings, get them watered right away. That means the soil has dried out. So you do want to make sure that you're not watering solely by looking at the top of the soil and making sure that it is moist. Because if you're doing that, you're probably causing those conditions for the white fungus or the dampening off, the funguses that cause dampening off. I always recommend too, as well, to water from the bottom. Those roots are underneath the soil. There's no reason to water from the top. You cause more problems by watering on the top than if you would water on the bottom. Number two is airflow. You want to make sure that you have a fan in your grow room blowing on the plants. Now, you don't need a big gusty fan just blowing on the plants and the plants are just constantly struggling to stay up. You want a nice gentle breeze where the plants are kind of flowing, kind of like a nice spring day if you want to think about it. You don't want an F5 tornado coming at them. So by providing that airflow, those funguses will have a hard time to develop. And yes, you will probably have to water a little bit more if you are putting a fan on these seedlings. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on your moisture. You're best off checking those seedlings every day. Don't be checking them up on them once a week. They are babies, you got to baby them. So go down there every day and check them for water and make sure that you're staying up with proper watering. A fan also will strengthen the stems of the plants. They'll be more ready to go outside than ones that are not fanned. Just because it's used to having something blowing on it, those stems will be a little bit tougher. It's kind of like giving them a workout. The more repetitions they have, the better off they're going to be whenever those spring storms come through, or whenever you first bring them outside and you harden off your plants. Another suggestion I have here is to use a sterile mix. If you use a sterile mix, something that hasn't been outside, don't bring your dirt from outside. If you can by all means avoid it. Use a sterile mix, something that's going to be not exposed to the elements, something that's not going to have a whole lot of organic material in it, something that you can get those seeds started and get them growing. Now, once they get a little bit older, you can introduce some more organic material to your mixes if you need to. And by all means, if you can, don't bring dirt in from outside. Don't be that guy. If you're unsure if your mix is sterile, you can bake it in the oven. I'm sure there's plenty of ways that you can make that equipment sterile if you need to. So earlier in the video, there are some household items that I mentioned that you can use to use as a preventative for these funguses. Now, there's a lot of times where I put a humidity dome over my peppers or tomatoes or different ones just to get the humidity up in there, because I am growing down in the basement. It is cool down here, but that really helps get those seeds going starting fast. However, when you do that, you can't put a fan on them. So that's why I usually typically struggle with that white mold from time to time, especially on those plants that take forever to come up. I'm talking like your peppers, your nasturtiums, some of those things like that take forever to pop through those soils, those hard seeds and different things like that. There are a couple cheap things that you can do to prevent this from happening. Now, before I mention those cheap tricks, I want me to answer some questions down in the comments down below. Have you guys had any problems with any type of funguses? Have you never noticed your plants just all of a sudden droop over and die? I tell you, I have had many issues with that in the past. I mean, you live, you learn. So leave me a comment down below. Maybe I can help you out with something. Let me know down in the comments. There are a few things that you can do. Number one would be cinnamon. If you have cinnamon that you have in your pantry, go ahead and take it and you can lightly sprinkle it over the soil. That cinnamon is known to be have antifungal properties. However, a couple caveats with this is it's a preventative. It's not a cure. If you put the cinnamon on the fungus, it's not gonna get rid of it. You want to have it as a preventative, not a cure. Number two, don't overdo the cinnamon. The cinnamon is hydrophobic. So if you put that cinnamon on there, you're gonna have problems with water separating away from the seedling. And that's gonna cause you some issues. As a matter of fact, the cinnamon I hardly ever use because it's not a good replacement for just a simple fan. A simple fan will do you wonders. You're gonna wanna do that anyways to help get your seedlings ready for the real world outside. Number two, it can be found right in your pantry as well, and that would be chamomile. If you do a chamomile tea soak of some of your seeds for a simple 12 to 24 hours, 8 to 24 hours, if you do a simple soak of some of your longer lasting seeds, one, it'll soften up the seeds. Two, chamomile has a antifungal property to it. It will prevent that seed from essentially having that fungus grow on it or around it, and it'll give that seed a better opportunity to sprout. Now, I've done this with my pepper seeds, and I've had great success for it. Not only is chamomile great to drink, but I did not know this until a couple years ago, but it is awesome at repelling that white mold. So how do you do this with the chamomile? Basically, you want to go through and you want to make your chamomile tea, warm up your water, put your tea bag in there, or if you just have a plain chamomile that you harvest from the garden like I do, just put your chamomile in there. Now, you don't want to have any mint or any other type of herb in there. You want just straight chamomile. You don't want any extras in there. You just want it straight. Let everything cool. After everything's cooled down to room temperature, go ahead and put your seeds in there. Let them soak I let mine soak for about 12 hours to anywhere from 8 to 24 hours is fine. I would definitely not do it over longer than 24 hours, otherwise the seeds will drown and die. But then after you do that, take them out, run them through a sieve, and after you run them through that sieve, go ahead and put them in the soil like you normally would plant. Now, these seeds are going to be a little softer, so hopefully they'll come out and sprout a little bit quicker than normal. And also, they should have that antifungal properties from your chamomile tea. And that's all there is to it. A quick little tip. So if you guys are liking the material I'm providing you here, please consider clicking that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, and there's nothing better to make a YouTuber smile than if you would leave a comment down below, especially this one. Cheers, guys, and God bless.